Alright, we're back. It is Wednesday. The new comics have come out. And it's my birthday tomorrow, so I bought a few more things than I probably should have. Because it's my birthday, why not? Anyway, I got 6 things. Actually, I'd say I got 7 things this week. I got 1 Marvel book, 4 DC books, and 1 Dynamite book, and I got the Batwoman hardcover. All really, really good stuff, but I'm going to start it off with the two non-DC books. I'm going to start it off with Avengers number 3 and Green Hornet number 6. Okay, we're going to start off with Green Hornet number 6. Now, I talked about Green Hornet number 5 way back when I first started these things, and it, as I said then, it's Kevin Smith's, hypothetically, what his Green Hornet film would have been if he had made it, plain and simple. And it's written by Kevin Smith, as it says so on the cover. We have a very nice Alex Ross cover there. And it's got art layouts by Phil Hester, who worked with Kevin Smith on Green Arrow, and we've got essentially finishes by Jonathan Lau. So it's mostly Jonathan Lau. Phil Hester's art is pretty much non-existent in it. Anyway, the last issue ended up with our main character, Britt Reed's son, finally putting on the Green Hornet costume and essentially getting his ass kicked. And he is now, in this issue, picks up pretty much right after the last one, and he returns to the Hornet Cave, or whatever you want to call it, with Kato, whose name is literally Mulan. At least everyone calls her that. And it was a lot happens in this issue, and basically at this point, after initially getting resistance from Kato and his daughter that he is not the Green Hornet, and he is not his father, he essentially, after a very heated exchange, proves to them that he is his father's son. And so Kato naturally starts training Green Hornet about training Britt Reed's son to be the Green Hornet, to replace his father, as it were. And there's a funny comedic gag where he goes through trying all sorts of different costumes, one of which is essentially Batman, and he quotes Batman from 1989 almost exclusively. I want you to tell all your friends about me, that sort of thing. And it's kind of funny, but it feels kind of out of place. In a book that at this point was kind of keeping a very straightforward tone, to see them take such a comedic turn on something that you think would be pretty serious, you know, him taking over for his father, it didn't really seem to line up for me. And also, when they get back to the Hornet Cave, we are introduced to a strange mechanic character that we've never seen before and seems only be introduced so he can make jokes and be a comedic relief the whole time. So, at the end of the issue, it's implied that he's finally established himself as the Green Hornet. 6 issues in, it's about freaking time. And she's Kato, and this thing on the cover is very deceptive. That never actually happens. If you can't tell there, that's let me see, that's Kato and Green Hornet, presumably the female Kato, kissing on the hood of assumably the Black Beauty or something, and that never actually happens. So I have no idea why that's the cover. Anyway, I really wanted to like this book. I really did. I really wanted to see Kevin Smith and what he would have done with Green Hornet, and I thought it was cool when Dynamite announced it. I think it was really, really cool that they did that. We've got great covers by Alex Ross. It's a little confusing because Alex Ross does 50% of the covers, and then John Cassidy does the other 50%, but then Steven Segovia also does covers. So apparently there's more than 100% covers here. Kind of like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That's 108% or whatever. But it's a good-looking book. Jonathan Lau continues to turn in some really, really great art. He's got some really ridiculous Green Hornet costumes seen in this video. He really tries out some ridiculous stuff, goes like battle suit, tries Batman, and then eventually settles on something very reminiscent of the classic version, which kind of makes the whole thing seem pointless. Because when he first puts on the costume, he just puts on a version of the original costume, and then after trying 4 or 5 different costumes, he just settles on something that looks exactly like the original. So it seemed like a gag that was just meant to be mildly humorous, and it doesn't even really succeed at being that. So, again, I really wanted to like this. I really wanted to believe that Kevin Smith had something really, really cool that he was doing here. But I'm losing faith. Again, great Alex Ross cover. I'm hoping it picks up next issue now that he's officially in as the Green Hornet. Otherwise, I may not be seeing this thing out to the end. Anyway, something, again, this is Avengers #3 by Brian Michael Bendis, John Romita Jr. doing art with Klaus Janson on inks. This continues the next Avengers. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it's called. But in this story, Kang, in issue 1, warned them at the future, or a time while it was being tampered with. And so at the end of issue 2, which I also talked about a while ago, at the end of the issue, a version of Apocalypse with 4 different Horsemen shows up. And the Horsemen are, I believe, Spider-Man, the Hulk, Wolverine, and Scarlet Witch. Now, we initially find out naturally that these are not the real versions of them. These are just guys from an alternate future. And they have a big throwdown fight with Apocalypse and his 4 Horsemen. So we start off with a pretty big action sequence. And then afterwards it kind of settles into a, the fight sequence is a good, probably half of this issue. Half of this issue is them fighting the alternate version of Apocalypse and stuff. And then him and his Horsemen just kind of vanish after they realize what's happening to them. And Iron Man, naturally, analyzes Apocalypse long enough to find out that they are indeed from this fractured timeline, and gains enough information for them to know where they need to go. So they take Novar, the former Marvel boy, to rebuild their time machine, and then the team splits into 2, one to go through time and one to maintain the fort in the present. Overall, it's pretty good. It's like I said, it's still not my favorite of the Avengers books, but I think this is it's kind of cool that Brian Michael Bendis is making a legitimate attempt at doing big classic Avengers stories here. I mean, in the first 3 issues alone, we've had Kang the Conqueror, and we've had the Apocalypse and the 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse. So Brian Michael Bendis has been doing a admirable job at making this feel like a big Avengers book. The team is got Thor and Iron Man, with Bucky Barnes as Captain America at the heart, and then it's rounded out by Hawkeye and other classic Avengers, Spider-Woman, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Novar at the moment. So it's a good team. Some heavy hitters. I mean, again, we've got Wolverine and Spider-Man, which I'm really not a fan of, and the dialogue in this gets a little bit hammy at times. There's some jokes that are thrown in where you're like, this. If I were in this situation, I wouldn't be telling jokes. I mean, if I'm facing imminent destruction at the hands of an all-powerful mutant from the beginning of time, I'm not going to make wisecracks. And there's just a few other times where people seem to make jokes that just seem out of context. And I appreciate what Bendis is doing, though. I mean, it's like I said, it's not my favorite of the Avengers books, but he's doing and putting forth a really, really good classic in the vein of the classic Avengers stories. I mean, it's not going to rank up there with some of the Korvac saga or whatever, anything like that. But it's good. It's not bad. I mean, it's by no means probably the best thing Bendis has done. I mean, rereading his Daredevil, that's unfortunately painfully obvious. And he's been doing a lot of Avengers stuff over the years. But then again, of all the Avengers stuff he's done, he's never really gotten to do these big Avengers stories. So now that the Avengers are back in their full prime, he's getting a chance to do that right here. The art of John Romita Jr., I have a very love-hate relationship with. I think he is better when he's being inked by like Scott Hanna, not necessarily Klaus Janson. And the art here seems a little sketchy at times. But I'm okay with that for the most part because John Romita Jr. is on time, and I think that a book like Avengers needs very much to be on time. Take a look at that nice cover there featuring Kang the Conqueror and an alternate version of the Hulk, actually. So it's I'm glad that they've put John Romita Jr. is an A-lister. He's a very well-known artist. He's very well renowned for the stuff that he's done, and I'm glad that they've got him on this book because he does keep a monthly schedule. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this first installment. I'll be back to talk about a few things from the DC side, including but not limited to Brightest Day and the Legion of Superheroes. Thanks.